What's up, YouTube? Back with another video. LA Mamba. It is September 29, 2023. It is 6:20 p.m. It is a Friday, and we're closed for business. All right, guys. Today's the big day finally for me. After a few months of working non-stop to hit my goal of making this whole shop pretty much how I wanted it to be, with these big Home Depot racks and all filled up to my standard. So pretty much it means there's more than enough tires to be all 100% full. And you know, I just got them in, and I just, you know, over 300 tires came in today. And this was from a new spot, which gave me more of a variety from the last spot, which is all right. It's not like I'm trying to like get a whole bunch of places. By the way, I do have a whole bunch of places to grab tires from. I just, you know, they always call me and stuff like that. I was like, nah, like I just, you know, I it's not about having so many places, you know. It's about like having the right stuff, you know what I mean? The right stuff for you, your right tires. So I'll just show you around, check it out. So this whole rack on top was empty. It's all packed, but the good thing is packed with gold right there. That is low pro 20s, everybody. Super hard to get out here. And I filled up the whole bottom, which is in between those two racks right there. On the bottom is all low pro 20s. And yeah, so check it out, show you over here. When it comes to the 18s, I pretty much got tires from there. The new ones, put it down there, put them in here, gave me another row, and I filled it all with 225 4018. Same thing with here. I put the tires, the new ones that were left over from here and into here, and we got an empty rack, so I put all 225 55 18s. Now I grabbed these tires from in here. So in the morning I got the tires in. So pretty much this pretty much a new place, right, for me. And the you know, we're talking, and the owner, you know, he was like, wow, like the next day, which is today, he came himself to deliver the tires, and he has a crew. He wanted to come to the shop, and he wanted to talk to me. So then yeah, he delivered them, and it was awesome. So but anyway, we filled it up right here. It was all packed, and then we started taking out tires. So they all came from here. These are all randoms. So here we go. We got extras that we don't fit no more on the racks. So we made another row. There was some tires here, same thing. We got the new ones we put up there. And then some of the ones were here, we put it on here in the rows. And we had a new empty rack. And we filled it with 20s, low pro 20s, all packed on there. And these are the extra low pro 20s. But yeah, we just all packed now. Everything on the whole shop is pretty much packed. I'm gonna take you to the 15s and the 19s. You see here on the right side, we got extras. And actually, I didn't even see these. These are actually 15s extras. So we gotta take them over there. We still gotta do a better job in the organizing the 15s, but here's another row of extra 19s and another row of extras. But check it out, all of them there, all of the two racks were empty, and now they're packed with low pro 19s. Again, this is like gold, because low pro 19s are very hard to get, and it's all packed. Look at it, all packed now. 15s, tall 15s, pretty much trailer tires. On the tall racks, we have that filled up now. We got that filled up now. We got that one filled up now. All packed. So it was a great buy, and what I needed to fill up all my racks. So here we go. There's a big old mess, and there's not enough room to fill up. It's all packed in there. It's all packed, all packed. So we're gonna have to figure out how to like do this thing. But it's a good problem to have. Look, we just got like a little empty spot. We can put some there. We'll figure it out. And those 2 rows like I saw, I didn't even see them till right now. Those are all 15s. They're not supposed to be over there. They're supposed to be in this area. So what I'm thinking is probably maybe organize this somehow, make some more room, so put them in here. I don't know, we'll see. Or down here, maybe the new tires from down here, put them up there. Make room for the used tires down there. We'll have to figure something out. But it's all packed. I'm very happy. The reason I'm very happy is it wasn't a financial goal, like I said in my other videos. I just wanted to see the damn fucking racks full. That's all I wanted to see, man. Like, my eyes wanted to see it. And it took months of visualizing it in my head and actually doing it in real life. It took a lot of money also, but that was the least of my concerns. It was more about me looking at the damn thing full. But another good thing about this is because I am full already, as in I have everything I want when it comes to the tire shop, when it comes to the tires, I don't have to buy no more. So guess what? That's the end of my choke and grow. Pretty much I choke when it comes to buying the used tires, and now I'm gonna grow because I have much more in inventory, a lot more options, and pretty much customers have already bought the new stuff a lot. Like today we sold 4 255 70 18 Michelin set of 4, then we sold like some 2 315 30 22s, and that's from today's load. A whole bunch of other stuff we sold for today's activity. A lot of used sold. We didn't sell that many new, we just sold a couple sets. It was a lot of labors, big labor jobs, and some sensor jobs we did. What else? Yeah, pretty much that's it. A bunch of patches, you know, just a regular tire shop day. A lot of work. Tired, but it feels good, right? And so let me move forward with the video, guys. I wanted to talk about a book that I really loved growing up, and I'm talking about growing up from like after high school. I read this book, right? And it is an awesome book. I'm sure a lot of you have heard this book about it. It's a great book, and you know what? I'm just calling it one book because of people know this name, and people don't know the other names of the other books. But this author makes a lot of books, and I read like at one point I read all his books that was all about the money and business part. So it was like I don't know, it was like 13 at the time or something that he created. And I'll read the physical copies. I love to have like the physical copies of everything. I'm pretty sure I have them all like stacked away and stuff, but it don't matter, it's on my mind. But you know, this book I read it probably about like I don't know, in my life probably like around 10 times already, just because I just wanted to like, it has that fresh feeling, like that breath of new life feel. And so anyways, the book is called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. A lot of you probably heard of the book and read it. Maybe some of you just looked at it from like the people talk about it, but it's very, very good book. I highly recommend. It's actually the #1 book you should read if you want to like read a book on business and finance. And the thing that blew up this book, Robert Kiyosaki, for those of you that don't know his story and why it's so transformational, I'm just gonna start. I'm not gonna start from before his history, like when he started, like, but you know, ever since again, I read that first book, I just fell in love with his stuff, and he just changed so many people's lives when it comes to business and finance and real estate. But the thing is, like, you know, nothing he said was new. like it was always existed. It just brought it into life, like for people to realize that's what like rich people do, and what the middle class do, and the poor people what they do. And he was just describing in his book. And so the reason he blew up and what he did that nobody did before him is that he described like things like assets and liabilities. I'll put it like that. He described what an asset and he described what a liability was, and he did a lot of descriptions. He did a lot of you know, what's this, what's that, what they do. Pretty much like his old books, he was just descriptions of like everything. And everybody will do, and not everybody, like people who would write rich, like about, you know, finance and like how to get rich and stuff like that before him. Like they did say how they do it. They did say like, you know, all that stuff, but they never described it. They never like said, okay, like if you are, you know, if you own a tire shop, you're self-employed, right? They never said if you own a, you know, if you own real estate, you're an investor. Just an example, like just small stuff. If you work for somebody, you're an employee. If you own a company more than 500 employees, you're a big business owner. It's the right quadrant is like, you know, what the rich people do. The left quadrant is more like the middle class people do, and the poor people. But whatever you are in the four quadrants, you always want to be an I also, which is an investor, right? So it's pretty much a description of E. It's like a cross. Top left on the cross is the E. Bottom left it is a S. Top right is a B, and bottom right corner is an I. And he describes everything very in detailed about that, and so, you know, he starts with a story of a little kid and his dad. I'll just describe it a little bit. I'm not gonna go through the whole details, but here we go. So he describes when he was a little kid, he had a rich dad and a poor dad. And his poor dad was his dad, and his rich dad was actually his friend's dad. And he wanted to learn how to like be rich when he was a little kid. He saw things and he didn't think they were fair, and he didn't want to go through things in life. You know, everybody wanted to go to the good life, right? And he figured being a rich, you know, person, you have like more options, more freedom. So he already knew how his poor dad think. Like growing up, he already knew how he thinks. So he wanted to learn how his best friend's dad thinks, his rich dad. So then he was like, hey, you know what? I want to learn. Teach me, please. I want to learn how to become rich. And then yeah, he's like, all right, cool, yeah, meet me at my store. And so like, if you want to pretty much learn, I'm gonna teach you my way, you know, through real life. And he's like, yeah, right? And then so like, he pretty much put him in the store to work for like 10 cents a day, which was, even at that time, was, you know, it wasn't much. It was just a little bit. Pretty much, you had enough to buy like I don't know, you said like 2 or 3 comic books. So like, he would like go to work, make 10 cents a day, go to the comic book store, and then like spend all his money. And he loved comic books, right? And pretty much he did that for 4 weeks. I'm not gonna spoil the whole thing, but I'm just gonna like, you know, tell you how overview. So pretty much he did that for 4 weeks, And then he was like, hey man, this shit fucking sucks, man. I want to fucking quit. I haven't even seen your dad in a month, man. Like, cause the dad had a lot of multiple stores. He had like liquor stores. He had a construction company. He had I don't know. He had other stuff. I forgot what else, but he was always busy. So then he pretty much his best friend's Mike. He's like, Mike, I'm gonna quit. He's like, all right. My dad told me you're gonna do this, so you're ready to go see him. And he was like, what? They go to his pretty much like a house, but it's like a business office type of deal. And you know, everything like he would like describe about his poor dad, it was like he had assets, but it was not like rich stuff. It was like beat down things, but everything he had made money. Everything cash flowed, right? So it wasn't like a nice car he had. It wasn't like nice house, or it wasn't like, you know, a nice car and stuff like that. It was all like beat up. It was all old. But he was pretty much looking at all that. He's like, man, what the hell? Like, so he talked to him and he said, hey, like, how, like, you know, he waited for him a long time. He's like, hey, why? He's like, why do you pay me 10 cents? Pretty much when he's talking to him in the office, he's like, man, you know, child labor laws, and you know, you should pay, you know, minimum wage, and what you're doing is exploiting people and exploiting me as a kid. What did I ever do to you? Right? He was telling that to his rich dad, and he was like, ha 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 ha, man, you sound like most of my employees after like they've been working for me many years. And he was like, what the hell? You're not even serious, man. Like, did you hear me what I said, man? You know, this is not fair. My mom said this, my dad said this, I should quit. And I agree. And I work hard, and I can't even enjoy my Saturdays, which is the only day I can enjoy out of the week, because I go to school. And then he was like, keep going, man. Imagine doing this shit like for 15, 30 years. And he's like, what do you mean, man? I haven't even seen you, man. Like, you said you would teach me, you lied. And then the dad was like, I am teaching you. And he's like, what do you mean? I haven't even seen you. He's like, I'm not teaching you the way that school teaches you. I'm teaching you real life lessons and real world stuff. See all that stuff you said? If you work for somebody, that's how it's always going to be for the rest of your life. And at a very young age, you had a taste of what it feels like, right? And then he was like, nah, like, what do you mean, man? Like, yeah, you know what? How about you raise me, you know? And see, that's what you're talking about. Like, you're talking about a raise now. What everybody does in the real world is like, you can't be, you know, working for money, man. Like, you're gonna get nowhere. You know, you're gonna do you know, there's real nice people that work for me, and you know, but they're never gonna be rich. Like, they just, you know, work for the money, right? And this fine, this cool. I mean, they're great people and all, but you know, just go keep doing what you're doing, and you're gonna end up like them. And so pretty much he's like, nah, hell no. Like, well, what do you want me to do, man? Just take the 10 cents and freaking work hard and have no Saturdays? And then he's like, well, that's what the other people do. They just shut up, don't say nothing, and they just fucking go through life getting beat up by their boss, by friends, family, by the world. They get pushed around. And so he's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Fight back? You know, pretty much. He's like, yeah, you're supposed to fight back, you know? But, you know, that, you know, life, you can't get tossed around and stuff. But anyways, you know, you want me to teach you, you know, this is lesson number 1. You know, the rich people don't work for money. And he's like, what the fuck? You know, like, what do they work for then, you know? They're like, oh yeah, like, the rich people work to buy assets, to build assets. They don't work for money, right? And so, like, he was like, oh, okay. All right, well, he thought about it, and he, like, you know, this guy might have a point. I don't know. I'm still a kid, 8 years old or something, 10 years old. And he's like, he wants to find out what's this guy talking about, right? And so then pretty much he says, all right, well, I guess I'll continue to work for you, man. I want to learn, man. And then he's like, all right, cool. Sounds good to me. Next Saturday, you're going to start working. And you're going to start working. This time, you're not going to get paid. He's like, what the hell? What do you mean I'm not going to get paid? Yep, I'm not even going to pay you the 10 cents. He's like, what the fuck? Pretty much, the whole thing starts like that. And he's like, all right, well, yeah, so, you better like go home, get some rest and all that, because go to school and all that, whatever. But, see you next week or whatever. And so, yeah, he started working for no money, right? So, yeah, so now he goes back to the work. Instead of getting a raise, he's making less money now. So he can't even now afford the comic books. And I'll just leave it like that. So, what he's teaching, the rule number one, is pretty much saying the rich don't work for money, they work for assets. They work to build assets. and so, when it comes to like building, let's say, this is the topic of the tire shop, and this is talking about real estate. This is my, multiple streams of income channel and a tire shop channel, which mainly comes from real estate. But I mean, you can do other things too, like, but the main thing is like, it's the best thing, pretty much, the real estate. So going forward, building, it's always like, you don't have the nicest stuff, choke and grow, you're broke when you choke and grow. You finally making some money again, and okay, here comes another choke and grow and shit, right? And it's like, fuck, always being broke and shit, right? But you're building assets, now you have more property, another property that's cash flowing, another asset that's cash flowing, now that one's making money. And it's like throughout the years you go and you just keep building stuff. And I just wanted to talk to you, yeah, this is a lot of people listen to this channel, and they're, yeah, of course, tire shop business makes money, and I really want to own one day. A lot of people want to, and for those who own one, it's like, yes, it's a great business and it cash flows a lot, and everything I'm saying is like correct. I put more money in the business, I make more, all these little tricks can get you, better customer service, because now you can help out the customers faster instead of being stuck there, with all these little extra tips and tricks and stuff. Organization and stuff was one of them, right? Like I always talk about organizing. You put them in one spot, you guys can go there real quick, find it and leave. The 15s are not going to be here. There's no 15s here. Pretty much what I'm saying is, for those of you who are just trying to start or already owning the shop for a few years, and have focus on the tire shop business, it's great. But I want to tell you, everybody right now, I want to tell you all, and I've said a lot of my other videos, if you're thinking about a tire shop business or you're in the tire shop business, you also have to think about the real estate business also. You have to. Let me tell you this. People who have owned a tire shop business for many years and haven't bought real estate or don't own any real estate, and go ask them. Go ask them how has it been. Because if you ask them, and I've asked them, by the way, I've asked a lot of them just to get the response, and I'll tell you the response. It's always, man, I always thought about the real estate business. I always wanted to do it, but I never did it, right? The people who don't own real estate and they own a tire shop. And pretty much they say, I wish I would have done it. They say, I wish I would have done it. Everybody would have been like, I wish I would have done it, man. And so, yeah, time goes by. They're older. They're like old men already. They own the tire shop. And it's like, that's all they have is the tire shop. And, yeah, it's an asset. It spits out money every single day. It's cash cow. I call the tire shop business a cash cow. But it gets you nowhere when you're older age. Like now, what you can't even walk around good. Your knees are all banged up. You're tired, man. It's like when you're older, you're gonna want to work less, of course, not work more. But if you didn't buy assets for throughout the years, you spend your money on the new cars, vacations and stuff like that, like not putting money on the side, man, you know, I think it's like, I mean, I would say that sucks, man. Like, you know, and so like, yeah, so the story like a rich dad, poor dad, he says, the rich don't buy. I'm sorry, they don't say that. I'm sorry. They said the rich don't work for money, as in they don't work and then they get that money and then they go spend it on a new car. The rich go and pretty much buy assets and build assets, right? And so what they do is they build an asset, let's say like a tire shop, just an example, and from that cash flow, they save it and then they buy an asset like real estate, properties, like, you know, multi-family units, right? My favorite, multi-family, mobile home parks and apartments. And from that cash flow, then they buy their liabilities. And for those of you who don't know what an asset and a liability is, Robert Kiyosaki says an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes away money from your pocket. That's it. That's what an asset and what a liability is. He said it to tell Robert Kiyosaki as a young little kid, to explain it to him very simple. He said an asset puts money in your pocket, a liability takes away money from your pocket. So everybody likes the nice stuff, the nice cars, the nice home and stuff. But the thing is, when do you buy it? Do you buy it when you work hard and then you buy it? Or do you work hard, buy an asset, and then that asset buys the liability? So he used an example like just an example. He I don't know if it was him or a friend wanted a Porsche. So let's say the mortgage, the car payment is, let's say, like $500 a month on the Porsche, right? And so he said he was saving instead of buying the Porsche. Let's say, like, I don't know, let's just call it like 80, 100,000, whatever it was, right? He'll get that 80, 100,000, put it as a down payment, buy a property that cash flows $500, and when it's cash flowing, now he can go buy a Porsche, go finance it. It's $500 a month. From the cash flow, he's paying the $500 a month. That's how the rich do their thing. That's what he says in the book. You know, rich have a lot of money different ways and all that stuff, but just one of the strategies, he says. It's just one of the things that the rich work for assets, to buy assets, to build them, that cash flow, and then they can go buy their liabilities with that asset. So it's a really awesome book. I love it, and I just wanted to share that with you. It just keeps it very fresh in perspective of how we are doing things, and it's just a new, fresh way to feel once you like read it again, and I just love it. I highly recommend it, and you guys can you know, hear it on audio or whatever. But I'm about to go. I'll let you guys go. See you guys next time. Mamba out.